Joseph Apartment Talk Show, where we only take one take. In one take, we make it happen. This episode is sponsored by Chris Joseph Real Estate. This is Chris. Thank you, Chris, for sponsoring. And our first guest today is Gary Flater. I have been relying on Gary for about 20 years, being able to take my clients when they sell their apartment building and find solutions other than a regular 1031. So Gary, tell us what's going on and how you can help my apartment watchers.
Well, it's a crazy market out now with especially in multifamily. The prices are gone through the roof here in California. And we're finding a lot of California investors are saying, okay, I rode the roller coaster up, I rode it down, the '08, '09, it's up again. So what do I do? Maybe I can take some of that money off the table. But if you take it off the table without doing a 1031 exchange, you're gonna pay some taxes. Capital gains tax, recapture, and it can be quite the tax bill. So at direct 1031 exchange, we work with investors to just see what their choices are, going from active management to passive management. What's the tax ramifications? What are replacement properties out there? And we usually utilize an investment tool called a Delaware Statutory Trust, or a DST. And so instead of owning all of a fourplex or an eightplex here in California, you may have a piece of a 250 unit apartment complex down in Georgia, or we've got different ones throughout the country. Could be medical office, industrial, single tenant. So whatever fits your risk tolerance, that's what we like to do, is sit down with the clients and determine what makes sense without paying the taxes.
How do people get a hold of you?
866-411-1031.
Can we go on our website and take a look at this whole
Yeah,
thing?
definitely. I would suggest that it's highly educational based and answers a lot of your questions. www.direct1031exchange.com.
I've got 55 apartment owners that have expressed some desire to sell. I try to put them in touch with Gary before they begin the sales process. Did you give him your email address, your phone number, everything?
Gary Flater, F as in Frank, Later, at Direct 1031 Exchange. And really what you said, Jim, getting in on the front end of it, because once you've sold a property, it's 45 days to identify and 180 days to find that replacement property.
It's called mailbox management. You just sit at your house, go to your mailbox, get your check. You don't have to worry about tenants or anything else. So give Gary a call. Our next guest is a debuting today, Steve Soto. Steve is involved in retrofitting your apartment building. Now, I know no one thinks about this until there's a massive earthquake and then we all focus on it. But I think just like with insurance and taking care of the leaves in your rain gutters, this is preventive maintenance, which no one wants to think about. But Steve, tell us what you do and how we get a hold of you.
Thanks, Jim. I work for Optimum Seismic. We are a retrofit company. We retrofit buildings to survive earthquakes. We all live in California. We're all susceptible and we're all aware of the damage that an earthquake can do to us physically or even financially if we have a business that's affected by an earthquake. So we've been in the business for 35 years. We're the oldest and we're the largest retrofit company in California. We will take a look at your building. We do everything in-house. We do the construction, we do the painting, we do everything that has to be done. We do it in-house. We don't go out to anybody else. We have a company in Los Angeles, and we take care of everything. So we give free estimates. If you have a question, just give us the address, and we will give you a free estimate on how much it will cost you to retrofit your building.
So I know a 10-unit building in La Habra. You'll come out there and tell me how much it will cost to survive a 7 or 6 or whatever earthquake? Is that how you calculate it?
We calculate it. What we do is basically we get the address. We take a look and see when that building was constructed. If it was constructed before 1976, it should be retrofitted because it's susceptible. We do a lot of construction with apartment buildings that have soft story buildings with the parking underneath, and they are very, very susceptible to earthquakes. They seem to fall the fastest. And if you have that, give me a call and I will give you a free estimate on how much it'll cost to retrofit your building.
I remember in this area it was the Whittier earthquake in the late 80s, and then it was the Northridge earthquake in the mid 90s, and everyone is interested then. So how do we get a hold of you, Steve?
You can just give me a call on my cell phone. My personal cell phone is 562-522 6959. And it comes right to me, and I'll be glad to help you out with anything you have.
I've known Steve for about 20 years. He's very reputable. We're not going to name the cities, but he's worked for some major cities in this area here, and you can trust his judgment. We'll save the best for last, and we'll go to Chris Joseph at Chris Joseph Real Estate. Chris, what is going on in the world of single-family? Even though this is an apartment talk show, you're in charge of the single-family department. So what's going on in the single-family world?
Yeah, I'll be quick. I just want to give you a quick market update. Right now, compared to last year, supply is down. Supply is up 34%, while demand is supply is down 34%, while demand is up 19% compared to last year, this time last year. So what that means is before the spring market hits, we have about a 2-month window where you could really take advantage of selling your single family residence and getting the most before that supply comes back up and the ratio evens out a little bit. So, yeah.
Thank you for sponsoring today's show. How do we get a hold of you?
I didn't even know I was sponsoring. Number is 562-760-4587 and email at chrisjosephrealestate@gmail.com.
Is there a website?
Yeah, chrisjosephrealty.com.
If you have a child, grandchild, friend, cousin, he covers all the cities that I cover for apartments. So if you have some single-family needs, give Chris a call and you'll get the same second-rate service that you're used to with me. Lastly, we have Dean. Dean, what is going on in the world of credit repair?
Well,
You scared us last month, so
how about this? I'm Dean. My wife and I, we own Pacific West Credit. We're a licensed credit repair under the DOJ Credit Services Act of 1982, just so anybody can Google that. But money's cheap, everybody, and you can't get that money if you don't have a score. And until they get rid of the FICO model, that's how they determine your credit worthiness. So I've been doing this a long time. I can look at a credit report. The consultation's free. If I can help you, I'll tell you how. And if I can't, I'll tell you why. But everybody knows cars are at 0% on some of them. 30-year fixes are at an all-time low. And you apartment owners out there, as you know, money's cheap, but they're going to use your bank statements, your LLCs, your K1s, whatever you have. But they will use 30% of their findings will be predicated on your credit score. Now with the IRS and the tax liens and all that and our taxes coming up, just keep in mind if you get these phishing expeditions, what it's called, cat phishing from the IRS, do not click on that hyperlink because that was malware and your computer will be infected. So if you have any questions, please call me. It's a free consultation. It's 714-323-5538, but I've been doing this a while for you guys, and hopefully the information is valuable with everybody that has something to say.
I always say that if you have a tenant that you've rejected because their credit is bad, instead of just saying no and hanging up on them, you can send them to Dean and he will fix them up and they will be then credit worthy to rent to. As things change, we may find ourselves being less selective and have to take tenants that we may not have otherwise taken.
And in China, if your credit drops below a certain threshold, they will put you on a list and you will not be allowed to leave the country.
Leave it to Dean to leave us terrorized. I want to thank you for watching the talk show this month. I appreciate it. This talk show is being filmed by Lisa Weber, who is the CFO for the organization, CEO, CFO, Senior Vice President. And if you want a market evaluation for your apartment building, call Lisa at 562-236-0088. What's the email address, Lisa?
lweber@gmail.com.
Told you she was filming. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.